Can we just be kids again? Laughing, holding hands, merry-go-round romance, jump into forever land. No matter the quest, I'm with you to the end. Ooh, through the tears and smiles, rain, sunshine, or clouds. Ooh, can we just thank God for the middle? Cause only death can part, but thank God for now.
Baby, let's take a scenic now. We can do the dash show, we can slow down. I think we found our rhythm now. Only death could part us, but thank God for now. All is fair in love and war, okay, I know that's true. Some may pray on us, but we just pray through. Baby, let's take the scene. We can do the dash show, we can slow down. What if we laughed at the things the enemy tried to kill us with? Refuse to hold a grudge even for a little bit.
Because there's people that have been married for however long and they still end up not together. There's people that they date for 2 seconds and end up together forever. So it's hard to bucket things just so I can understand them. And so what I do instead is just like focus on what I know. So I don't know when you say honeymoon, I don't know. I think maybe there could be seasons of that. I don't know. I've only been married 4 years. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying it's new. It's a beautiful thing though, because I see it in a lot of marriages, and it's nice to see it after 4 years.
Yeah. And I do
witness it. It's a beautiful thing.
I do like recall people like, and I'm that same. Well, first of all, I'm anti almost like every label. And so like when I first got married and people were like, you guys are in your honeymoon phase. Of course I was like, man, bump that. But then I started like, well, if I am, I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like whatever you're describing, I'm going to enjoy like whatever that means.
It's just a term. You dictate what that honeymoon phase can be.
Yeah.
When I was saying honeymoon phase, I was thinking it's fresh.
Yeah.
The love that they have for each other is fresh. That doesn't mean it's not going to last. 15 years, it can still be fresh. I would hope it's. We've been together 15 years. I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah, you fresh, baby.
There you go. There you go. But that was just a term. Like Shelby said, she focuses on what applies to them.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Yeah. But you dated for 4 years though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a like that's kind of a lead up.
Yeah, and there was definitely it was a good foundation. There was a lot of good, a lot of bad. But I think those 4 years definitely taught us a lot. And again, the pandemic worked in our favor in that regard too, because that was the time we were all locked in, and we got to really hone in on like being around each other 24/7. And so those 4 years it was definitely interesting. Yeah.
Do you think the 4 years sped up the process? When did you know that you wanted to marry Shelby? How long?
So,
oops, Shelby's like,
Just kidding. No, we talked about.
I've always heard that men know when they're dating someone if they want to go further. A lot of times they don't tell them until later.
Yeah.
But I forgot who I heard it from. I think it was Pastor Fernandez. We were in Fort Lauderdale, and I was dating Brian at the time. And he said most men know after dating a woman less than 30 days if they want to marry, if he wants to marry her.
So I can see that. So we literally just had this conversation maybe a couple months ago on one of our date nights. And what I told Shelby was that for me, it's hard to really pinpoint something. For me, it was like, all right, I always had a desire to be married and to be with somebody. And then there's a point where, okay, I met Shelby. I'm like, okay, I have interests. And so I think incrementally, I could see more and more of the qualities that I desired in a spouse and a wife. And so it's just one of those things that just like kept growing and growing and growing. But to your point, I do think it's absolutely true. Like after a month or two, it's like, all right, I see this person as a potential partner.
Yeah.
And so, again, in 2020, we just started like really having those conversations. Like she's looking at me like, okay, like where are we at with this thing, And I don't know if that answers the question properly.
But was there like a phase where you felt like, oh man, he might not gonna go full like through with this?
I don't I don't think so. I think I knew he would. I just didn't know when he would. So I was more concerned about that than if.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was there like a, if this goes past this time, then like I'm gonna go ahead and have to like either speak up or what? Was there a time like in your head?
For me, no.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like I was never, like my parents never like put the pressure on me to get married, or
Yeah.
I never thought about like, well, what kind of wedding would I want? Like I wasn't really thinking about any of that. If anything, I was thinking the opposite, because my parents went through a divorce. So I was like, well, I'm never getting married. I'm cool with just like adopting and getting a couple dogs, and I'll be set. This is obviously before London, but I think that what I did tell God, I said, if you do want me to get married and you're for real, you have to show me somebody that will change my perspective on marriage. And
Wow.
then insert Jinx. And
Wow.
so I think that I really had to, it was more about me coming to terms with like, are you dating to be married?
Yeah.
Right. Or is this person just, good company that you want to have around for like long term?
Yeah.
And so we came to like a very pivotal crossroads where like I had to make that decision. And I was like, okay, I am serious about this person. And then like the conversation, my mindset changed. So our conversations started changing.
So I do have a question. Like, so who is in that processing, right? Like, who's a part of that processing where I'm hearing you, and it sounds like you're going through this by yourself.
We were isolated. It's 2020.
Yeah. So I'm saying like the processing of going from, hey, I'm good without marriage to I may be like, God, if you're going to do this, then like, this is what this will have to look like. Like, who are you processing that with?
Well, remember, he's 11 years older than me. So when we met,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Oh, this man came in there and he was like, work.
Yeah.
This man
10.5.
went to work. Oh, I see what's happening here.
Yeah.
I already knew.
Okay.
So I was in my 20s when we met. I was just like, I didn't really know enough. I think London was maybe 3 at the time.
When we met?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
So you had a child before you met Jinx.
Yes.
So Jinx, how did that take place when you found out she had a daughter? You didn't care.
No, I didn't care. I think because by that time I was early 30s. So
Okay.
it was like at that point, you kind of expect that type of thing. And plus I had already been like,
You said you expected.
Wait,
not expecting.
No,
I
he
don't know if
said
that was
he had already been. He was about to. I'm trying to get him.
when you said
I'm trying to hit the bin. He had already been.
no,
He was expecting what?
no, I'm just saying like, okay, for instance, I was married before. So
Okay.
we are each coming to the table with at least something that you have to process and deal with on the other end. So it's not like it was like a turn off or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it also helps that she's a really cool kid. So like I distinctly remember meeting her for the first time. She comes to the door and she's like, Wakanda forever. I'm like, I like you. You are free, but you have this much personality. So
Wow.
yeah,
No problems with that blending. That's
not at
awesome.
all. Not at all. No.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That helps tremendously.
Yeah, it helps. And it also helps like that, before that we had a conversation with, the other side, her biological father, and, just was real mature about it. So,
That's so cool.
yeah, I think we entered that space the right way, if
That's
that makes
awesome.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing too, like, and is like, which I do want to go back to, right? Answering like who was with you processing that information. And the reason why I even asked that question is because I know there's a lot of people who are like, after what they've seen and been through, they're kind of like, oh no, I'm good on marriage. And then I'm like, well, that had a lot to do with what you experienced, but I'm hearing you say like, man, I witnessed this with my parents, but then I was like, man, God, if I'm ever open to it, it has looked like this. And my question is, because I know a lot of people are in that space, is this something that you should be processing by yourself? What did you process this with someone else? Like, how did you get from no to right, to
Yeah.
that space.
Yeah.
But you can hold that.
Okay.
Right. But we're going to need that answer. Right. But also, right, I'm hearing too, like, man, like, there's a lot of emotional maturity that I'm hearing, right? Like, you know, I know people would be like, oh, he's 10 years older, and divorced. But the truth of the matter is how you process that really turns into either strength or weakness. And the fact of the matter is, if you process that correctly, your ability to be emotionally stable and mature in the next relationship should increase, depending on, that's my point, how you processed it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm hearing you guys now, and it's clear that there's a lot of like emotional stability, which doesn't mean that like things don't happen. It just means that they are handled emotionally well.
Yeah.
Like when Shelby's like, yo, so it's like, if we can't do this now, we'll finish this later. Those are people, that's a person. These are people who understand that there are emotional capacities, that there's emotional limitations, that there are like, there's spaces in which like you have to guard how you are emotionally feeling,
Yes.
so that you don't convey something that you ultimately don't believe in. Like, so you're saying you've been married for 5 years, but I'm hearing the emotional capacity of a couple who's been married much longer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to like kind of close those dots, right? Be like, so who's doing the processing? Who's helping the processing? Like, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Them.
I think
Yeah. Go ahead. You started. Go ahead.
I know, like, my brain is a whole thing. So when you're talking about like emotional capacity and all that, like, these are things that I had to really understand about myself. And what I know about myself is that I'm very self-aware, like, to a fault. And so I spend a lot of time, especially when I was like, before I met him, like, I spent a lot of time with myself and like with God. And like, I loved that. Like, I didn't want to like be around people or anything. Like, I had, you know, I've always had a very small circle of friends. But I think that a lot of the decisions that I made were because I wanted to make them. And so when you talk about like who was around, I'm like, I don't know who was around, like, as far as like who would have influenced that decision. I know that I, of course, talk to my parents, and they give their advice from, you know, their perspectives. But at the end of the day, it's Shelby's decision. And that's what my dad has always told me, like, you know, like, I can give you as much wisdom, but like, it's always your decision. You, even like when I was like a kid, like, you still are accountable for the decision that you make.
That's good.
And so when I'm
that.
thinking like, I don't want to be disobedient. So if I'm telling God no, that's weird. Like, that's very, very weird. If I'm like, I'm never getting married, and I'm never. And I'm like taking on all these things that I'm not even thinking about as a 20-something-year-old. And I realized how dangerous that was. And I'm like, I don't want that. So I'm like, okay, God, if you have it, I want it, but also not mad if you never do it. So,
And so would you say, right? Because I think we would, like, you know, do a disservice, right, if we didn't like even speak about this piece, right? Were you writing music at that point? And was music a place in which you were able to express yourself, to be able to process these thoughts?
I would say during that time period, but the majority of us being together and dating up until like fairly recently, like, for me, no. Like, I'm just starting to get the wheels turning again with that. And I think that's because prior to us dating, I had been doing it for 15 years. So I was kind of like, not burnt out, but I think I was more so interested in seeing her and where she was going to go with it when it comes to the creative stuff. So, I don't know, were you were writing? Yeah, that's when you dropped your first album.
that was
EP.
after like, we were already dating. That was in 2020 when I dropped my first EP.
Yes, that's what we're talking about, no? Oh, no, we're talking about dating.
I'm still back in like leading up to making the decision to get married.
Oh, I
And
see.
At that point,
I was just seeing if like art was an outlet as well, right? If it played a part in being able to like process.
for me, no. I was writing music before then, but I think in that space, I only had enough mental capacity to work and take care of my
Your
kid.
daughter,
That was it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have an outlet, which is why I went inward. That was like that was
Makes sense.
that outlet. So that's why I couldn't even release until after we met. So that's why I didn't even consider myself an artist before then. I only considered myself a musician.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. And so it wasn't until 2020 when I was like, okay, I'm willing to make this, because to me, an artist is a big commitment. Like that's a whole other, you want to talk about labels, that's a whole other label that I wanted to step into like intentionally. So I didn't even start writing again until then.
Wow,
So.
because you're dope.
Thank you.
If you haven't heard her music, we need to drop
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I tell her all the time, I'm like, she's the most talented person. I've been telling that from when we were first dating. Like, she's the most talented person I know. Like, and so I genuinely mean that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
They so cute.
But it's so awesome, like hearing more of like the backdrop of it.
Yeah.
Right. That, man, like the emotional space, like that is that's amazing. Have you guys even thought about that before? Or is this something you guys think about?
I think a lot, but I don't think from that perspective.
Yeah. It's what I do find interesting is your perspective in hearing us talk and saying that there's a lot of emotional maturity. I'm taking that and I'm receiving that. But anytime I hear stuff like that, it's like I immediately think about, oh, we're still working through this and we're processing through all this other stuff in the back end. So it's a balance of trying to receive that feedback, but also not run with it too far, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I will say that I'm blessed to have somebody like Shelby, because I know that there's a lot of stuff that she's helped me work through, especially during that time period when we first met, when we were dating and first got engaged, as far as being like emotionally stable and mature and, and trying to, be the husband that I should be, So
because it's like one thing that me and Rashida always like, just kind of say to each other that like communication is the win. Like, being able to see it the same way could be a bonus. But communication is the win. Right. That like that those types of like layers, right, is what makes it mature. Right. What makes it mature is realizing that, oh no, like I'm receiving it, but I'm receiving it in context of understanding that there will never be a perfecting of it. Right. That it's like, as soon as perfection becomes the like goal, you have officially signed up to be immature. That's my point. Right.
That's
like,
good. That's
immaturity says perfection is the goal. Maturity says I will be I'll humbly receive that we are making progress, but I'll never get to the point where I'm prideful enough to believe we've arrived. Right. Like that's maturity. And I believe that that's where a lot of people, I know for me, like that's anytime I set perfection for our mark, then that's immediately where I begin to see us in a light that is less than who we are and where we are. But every time I realize like, no, being on the same page is a bonus. Communication is the win. Like that you learn that like, man, these goals and these objectives that I would say society puts out there, like first of all, who's society? Let me find them and let me have a conversation with them. But like, where do you get these markers from? Like there is a lifetime, right? I would say like to that point, and I was even thinking to myself like honeymoon phase, like what did I think about that? I was like, in like the honeymoon phase, like in my mind, I was like, for me, like the honeymoon phase ended when I finally realized that like you guys can be on different pages and still be okay. Like to me, like the honeymoon phase felt like eggshells I never wanted to burst. And then like honeymoon season was over for me when I realized that sometimes the eggshells do break, but like it's okay because you can fry the egg now, right? Like
I love it.
If you never crack the egg, you can't eat it, right? Like there's something you can do with that too, right? Like and that's what like that is what the maturity sits on. Like it sits on seeing yourself, seeing each other like overcome, seeing each other like actually meet moments and like progress through them. Man, I actually like, I don't look forward to it, but I do like fighting with her. Not like fighting her, but fighting with her.
What?
Like fighting with
Tell me more.
Tell me more.
like going to battle with
More
her.
about
That's a maturity level I haven't reached yet.
No. I mean like me and you on the same team against them.
Huh?
Like us going to battle together.
Okay.
Going on the same team fighting them.
Who's them?
Whoever that is that day, right?
Anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it.
Wow, that's a different way to look at it. Well, I don't look forward to that.
Like right now, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
We're fighting a lot of battles right now.
Well, that we are.
And that's what I'm saying. And we
Yes.
like bam, bam. You
Yes.
over here, you hitting them from the left, I'm hitting from the right. I'm like, did you call him yet? And
did.
you was like, you did. I said, did you tell him this? You did. I did. Then I was like, I'm finna call him tomorrow and I'm gonna tell him this. And you'd be like, you go ahead. And I'd be like, yeah.
That kind of fight.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah.
Together. You said, well, that's not what you said at first. So
I said we're fighting, and I realized by your faces, y'all thought I was talking about like us. I'm
Right,
like,
yeah.
No, I mean like
No,
there's things out there that
In the world.
collectively
That makes
mirror like it's
like that. Yes, I got you now.
like tag team
here.
partners. And it's like, so I look forward to those moments because it's like we get to see each other in action.
Yeah. On the same
and
team.
strengths, Sometimes he wants to say, okay, Rashida, you call them in, or you handle this business, you handle this. And I'm glad that he's allowing me to do it because I'll make sure it gets done.
Right? That she'll hit like all the line upon line, but then I'll be thinking of like all the concepts, right? And so then I'll be like, I would be on the phone. I'll be like, yo, so this is the concept of what I'm thinking. And they'll be like, okay. I was okay. And then she'll come on, but hey, this is what you really missed right there. And it's like, oh man, they got all bases covered here. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. She's definitely the more detailed oriented person. Like, I'd be like, oh, for night of art or whatever, we should do this and that. She's like, wait, have you thought about that? And I'm like, no, but that's
do this thing.
I just want to do that.
But you see how you allow her to be in that space?
Yeah.
That's so important in marriage that you find each other's strengths and work with that. You saw that's her area and she sees your area and y'all work together.
Yeah. I definitely am grateful for her organization and thoughtfulness when it
We
comes
are
to stuff.
too. We are too. Amen.
And so what would you say to that though, right? That it's like, how soon would you encourage like someone or even like I mean, whether married or unmarried, really doesn't matter, to like find that space and be comfortable with it. And the space I'm talking about is like the strengths and the weaknesses. Like, you know, like how soon should they pursue that and just go comfortable with it, right?
I believe it takes time too.
Yeah, it takes a lot of giving up your pride too. Like you talk about strength and weaknesses. Like none of us like to hear
Right.
from anybody, even ourselves or whatever, like about what makes or how we are weak. So I think that's the first step, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's being able to just throw your guard down and be like, all right, I'm giving it up to this thing, being, you know, the marriage or whatever. Yeah.
So you're asking how long, like, when you're, like, if you're single aspiring to be married, or when you are married, like,
Yeah,
do
it
you
could be on either
recognize
side,
that?
but more of it is like, if I'm on the other side of it, right, that, you know, I speak to a lot of people and they're still competing. And it's
Even
like,
in the marriage.
even in the marriage, right? Like they're competing, like they're challenging each other to be better at something, when it's like, or you could just submit to the fact that they are better at this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how long are you gonna do this is always my question.
Yeah.
That I'll be looking at people like, how long are y'all gonna be each other's competition when the enemy's over there? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're competing here.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, just give it up. Like, just
I think that a lot of it also has to do with trial and error. Like I could tell you there's been times, we'll talk about finances. Like I know that this is the way I did things when I was single, and I try to continue those things. Shelby like says, no, you should do it this way. And then it takes something happening. Like, all right, you know what?
You know what? You're right. See,
You got that.
You
You got
humbled
that.
yourself and
Yeah.
said, okay.
Yeah. So,
And she allowed you to make that mistake.
Sure.
What I mean by, and when I say allowed, a lot of times when a man or a woman make a mistake in the marriage, the hammer comes down. But I told you should have did
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of that. What I'm saying is she her grace.
Yeah.
You know, that she says, okay,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah.
We'll come
Shelby
back
don't
from
know
this.
that's what she said.
I mean, I'm thinking about me. Right. And if
I
I'm
was like, that's sweet.
no, it really is. I'm like, yeah, okay, I like that version. But if I'm honest with myself, I think it's definitely a balance. I feel like there are areas where I know exactly what his strengths are and like where his opportunities, I'll say, are. And I know for me, like in the past, this is something that like we talked about before, where like when we were first dating, especially, like I am a problem solver.
Okay.
And so I'll see an opportunity and I want it to be fixed like immediately. And so it turns into like I'm only calling out those things and then never calling out the strengths.
Yeah.
So he had to like show me that, like, okay, you have to like maybe give me both. Give me like this,
Yeah.
like I hate the sandwich. I hate here's the good thing and here's the bad thing and then here's the good thing. I hate that. So I never communicated that way to him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That was what he valued the whole time.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I think that like over time, like I've learned how to see those things and communicate them. But
So
I
you
know
guys
there's-
had a conversation
yes,
about best communication practices.
yes,
They have to.
yes.
5 years into your marriage, you had a conversation about best communication
No,
practices.
this was before. This
So
was
what
even
I'm
before.
saying is though, right? You see what I'm saying though? Like that's level, like y'all are on level, like
He's saying the
What?
maturity
yeah,
level.
like the maturity
I was
level,
like, I'm like, I need to know because I'm a very like action person. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, like if you tell me to do a thing, like I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I want to do it right and do it better.
Yeah.
Like every time. I don't like get it right every time, but like that's what my focus is. So you like, you know, and then I have to also put my feelings aside. But I think there's still other areas where because you grow as a person and you evolve as a
Yeah.
person. So now I have to always be aware of these new strengths and these new opportunities, or maybe this strength turned into an opportunity, or it can always change. So I think that's where I'm trying to like find the balance in like, what does this look like today, and be okay with that, and not always like compare to, well, you know, this is what used to happen 5 years ago.
yeah.
You know, that
Yeah,
kind of
don't
thing.
do that.
That.
Because that happens
I
too.
know it's dangerous territory.
Dangerous territory. I would never bring up what happened 5 years ago. I won't even bring up what happened last year. We're past that stage. I got you. I got you.
But no, I do appreciate the sandwich.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the
sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, the like if you have something to tell somebody, like, okay, well, you know, you're really great at putting the lights up. But you know, there was this, and then you say the thing that you wanted to say the first time. And then you end it with the good thing.
Gotcha.
And I'm very much just like, would say the thing.
Yeah.
And so I can't talk to him like that.
Right.
Because yeah.
You don't have to. He got you now.
Yeah.
But that's what he wanted, though, right?
I love sugar. Sugar coated for me. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I am sorry.
I love it. I think it's absolutely awesome. I think it's beautiful. And I'm like, just absolutely like, I am blown away and truly like just thankful, right? That you guys, you know, just took this time. I think that, man, where you guys are and just your ability to communicate and process is exceptional. It truly is. And so before we close out, right, just, I don't know, you guys have some final things you wanted to say, something like, man, I really, really wanted to say this, right?
Well, since you're giving us the opportunity, if you have any nuggets for us, you know, since we're only 4 years in, we'd love some jewels. We will pocket those all.
You know, I'm impressed, right? I would say, you know, any nuggets are jewels, right? Any nuggets are jewels. Just, I don't know. Maybe I'm not you know, it's so funny. And I might as well just go public with it now.
Oh,
I don't like when people label like wisdom as nuggets. I don't know why. Maybe because I feel like a chicken nugget is smaller than a strip.
Oh, right.
And so it's like, I see it as like a minimal thing. Oh, do you got a nugget? No, I want the strip, bro. Like, give me the strip.
The whole chicken.
some people don't got an appetite for strips. You know, they only got nugget appetite.
They only have
You
nuggets.
have to get it in small stages and
Say-
small bites to gain to be full.
Yeah.
Now, would you say like for like what 15 years, or would you say like reflect back on like
Yeah.
when you were married for 5 years? Like if I was married for like what was the most critical thing at our 5-year mark
I like that.
in our marriage?
Well, or like you were talking about emotional capacity. So like
Yeah.
at whatever, like understanding more about like where we are, like picking up from there, whether that was like year 3 for y'all, year 1, year 5,
Yeah,
year
I would
whatever.
say like year 5, year 4 to 5 was like, I mean, it's amazing. Like I reflect on it now and it's like, wow. I can say the thing that Rashida did, year 4 and 5 of our marriage that like, even today, like serves my soul so well is, she like let me miss it. I I just remember, many people have heard parts of the story, but at that moment, like I was learning how to hear God for both of us. And I think that is a chapter in marriage that a lot of times husbands don't get space for. Like, and you're accustomed to, and I was accustomed to hearing God from myself. And that means that I can also control all the variables, right? Because I'm the only player. But now in marriage, when we got 4 years in, is when I was having to make like some really significant decisions and hear from God for both of us. And one of them was moving out of our house into my parents' house, right? So I was having to ask God about like, is this what we should do? But I don't think there's a lot of credit given to the fact that it's a big difference hearing for God for yourself and hearing for God for your family, because with your family, you can't control all the variables, which means that, man, I really believe God told us to do X, Y, and Z, and our moments of obedience are A, B, and C. But then in a family dynamic, right, like I can't control your A, B, and C. So I heard this from God, but I can't make you do anything.
Yeah.
And so now you're in this like crazy place because I heard this from God. We didn't exactly do what God said to do, but yet I'm still on the hook for what I said God said was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do we do here? And it's like, I would say that Rashida created a space there to like be like, Brian, like I understand that like there are more variables now in you hearing from God for us versus hearing from God for yourself. And I don't see a lot of women or wives give husbands that space. And it's like, it's sticky because what do you want your husband to do? To go in and be like, well, I believe what God said was true, but are we going to talk about how you didn't do what I also said? Like now this is not, this is a dangerous conversation. Can you just give him the space, to be able to be like, there's a lot of variables here that I didn't have control over that were also a part of what I said God said to do. Right. And I tell people all the time that we can never forget that God is working with the same thing we have to work with, which is people's obedience.
Yeah.
And that is always that's why I believe the scripture is so important when God said he is patient for our sake. Like that is so heavy to me because I don't think a lot of God is patient for our sake, wishing that none would perish, but all would have everlasting life. God is patient, like all knowing, all powerful, all God is like, I'll wait for people to make the right decision. Like if he's patient, like how much more patient should we be?
Right.
And I also like remind, like, do we forget the stories of David and Goliath? Do we forget these stories that we read of Joseph? Do we forget the lion's den? Do we forget like all the stories in our Bible that show us that it doesn't take perfection to make progress? That even if I miss God, it doesn't mean we've missed God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
like I can miss God and still have God.
Right.
Right.
like I can miss this moment and still have his grace.
Yeah.
And it's like we throw all of that out. And I would say, if you were to ask me that at year 4 to 5, when I was looking at her and I was saying, hey, like, I know we got married, and I was like, hey, you're marrying me, I'm gonna change your whole life, girl. We're gonna travel the world, move you into this house you like loved and all this other type of stuff. But I'm like, yo, year 4 or 5, I'm like, I think we should go move with my parents. And of course she just looked at me. She says, well, if that's what you believe, like God's saying, let's go. Right. Like that's wild.
Yeah.
You're right. And I can say this, that like, and I mean, I don't mean this to put any pressure on anybody, but I never felt an ounce of resistance from her in that move.
No, that's good. I would say that's really good, because I feel like for the longest, like I know what it meant to be a child of God, but when it meant to be a husband in a godly way, like that's stuff that I'm still processing and growing in and stuff like that. And what I appreciate about what Shelby has provided for me is she's definitely encourages that and pushes me to be a little bit less passive in that way. And anytime that I tell her, I'm like, hey, I prayed about it and God told me to do this, she's like, all right. When any other time when we like may have a disagreement, it's like maybe something a little bit different, a little bit more pushback. But I appreciate the fact that she allows me that space to be the head of the household and be like, oh, hey, if I spoke to God and I said this, she like receives that really well.
Yeah.
And your perspective, I think that was really dope. I really appreciate that, because I think, again, I'm in that space where I'm trying to grow to be that.
He has a track record. Don't think it happened overnight. And I'm saying that in the 5 years we had been married, when he came to me, even though in my mind was racing and saying, okay, we're going to be inconvenienced, we're not struggling, what's the I didn't say what I was thinking out loud.
Yep.
I allowed, when he said, Rashida, I think we have to move in with my parents, I was like, okay, if that's what. Now I went away to process what just took place, and the kicking and screaming in my head. I was thinking, I don't want to go. I don't want to. But I never said that to him because it was just an emotional thing I was going through, not knowing. I said, okay, God, I don't see why we have to do it, not knowing that we spent 2 years with his parents every single day.
Yeah.
And then when we moved 6 months later, his dad passed. Imagine if I was worried about how I was feeling at that time, Brian would have missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
God knew. I didn't know. Yeah. And so I was learning in the mature stage of our marriage that I don't have to have all the answers, that I trust that God, he could hear from God. And guess what? If he makes a mistake, it's no big deal. We could just go find somewhere else to live.
Yeah.
I never felt like us moving homes dictated anything in the marriage.
Yeah.
You can call any place a home.
Yeah.
I didn't value my house as much as some people might.
Yeah.
Or cars or material things.
Yeah.
I just never.
Yeah. And Rashid does like a good job. Like, and I know it's like probably like just another side. Like I tell people I am such a lover of God because of like what I experienced in the relationship I have with him. And saying that to say that, like, man, like in our marriage, right, there's processes that I go through that no one ever would have even imagined. And it's amazing. Like, one of the things Rashida does so well is I'm actually a very, very, some people might not be surprised by this, extremely competitive person. I am very competitive. Like I dread losing at anything.
I know.
Yes.
In a very, very intense way. Like God has really softened my heart.
Oh wow.
And when it comes to this, like, I mean, I was gonna look my mom somewhere around here, but I remember like just like very, very aggressive, angry thoughts like as a child in my head. No, I'm serious. And like they gave me the nickname like booby trap, right? Like because I was also very methodical and just it was a lot. Right in my head, and so
get you later. We ain't gonna get you now, but I get you.
Saying all that to say that, like, I see like how much like man, like God is just incredible. But I'm saying that there are moments that like I don't like losing. I don't like missing the mark in a very, very intense way. And like Rashida will always have to remind me. She'd be like, Brian, do you know how many wins you have? Like I literally forget like that there are wins, like that there is success. I literally be like that, right? Like that. And so it's like, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, girl, we're going to move to my parents' house. And like, you know, and in my head, like that's all I see. Like, I don't see anything else. Like, you know, I'm like, this is it. This is what this means. This is where we're going. And of course, yeah. And I'm like, girl, like, I'm sorry. I'm doing all this. She's like, for what, bro? Like,
because
we like
mistakes. If you think your spouse is perfect, that's the number one. The wrong thing to even think like your spouse is not perfect,
right?
And she'll be like,
if God could forgive him, why can't I? It's like he made a mistake. It's a mistake.
Yeah,
our children make mistakes all the time, and we'd be like, okay, do better next time. Why don't we do that with our spouse?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And so she does such an incredible job, just of like just reminding me of the wins.
Yeah,
and I'm saying that to say that would be my second thing, like. Man, like a nugget would be is don't forget to remind your husband about the wins.
Or your wife.
Or your wife about the wins. Like, man, don't ever leave the wins off the table.
Yeah.
Like in most cases, everybody is already I tell people this, that for a believer, always remember that when you're telling a believer that they've done something wrong, you're the second one telling them that.
That's good.
Because the Holy Spirit already has.
Yeah.
So do it with sensitivity.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wow.
You're never the first. And a lot of times believers speak to believers as if I'm breaking news.
Yeah.
Like, no, bro, you are the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Like, I've already been getting this from the Holy Spirit. Please come to me with knowing that I was probably in deep conviction the last month.
Yeah.
And now it's become verbal.
Yeah.
Like, but I tell believers all the time, just remember you're never first, you're second. Like, so talk like you're the second person to say it.
Yeah.
Not like you're breaking news.
That's great. That's good.
No, I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. That's some really good nuggets. I mean,
Nuggets is fine.
No, it was a whole entree at this point.
Nah.
Shelby's like, I'm full. Look, I got leftovers, dessert.
But
And
thank you guys, right?
yeah.
No, you had something else.
No,
I see it.
I was just gonna say, no, we are thirsty for any advice and any input and stuff like that. So we appreciate this so much. We can be here for hours, honestly. We want to have a real conversation and stuff like that. So no, we just really appreciate you guys having us, honestly. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
And it's so dope, right? We did our first like sunset version, which I was like, it kind of makes sense, Mama, because they do bring the nightlife. Like, you know what I'm saying? They bring the nightlife. And I was like, this is like a sunset version. It makes so much sense. But we thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in to Death Do Us Part with the Smiths and my beautiful wife.
Yes, I'm here with you.
See you in the next one.
All right.
No matter the quest, I'm with you to the end. Through the tears and smiles, rain, sunshine, the clouds. Can we just thank God for the middle? 'Cause only death can part, but thank God for now.
Baby, let's take a scenic now. We can do the dash show, we can slow down. I think we found our rhythm now. Only death can part us, but thank God for now. All is fair and loving, well, okay, I know that's true. Some may pray on us, but we just pray through. Baby, let's take the scene. We can do the dash show, we can slow down. What if we laughed at the things the enemy tried to kill us with? Refuse to hold a grudge even for a little bit.